From the fast action of the trading pit to the power brokers making the headlines, you'll hear it all on the Traders Network Show with your host, Michael Yorba.
All right.
Michael interviews the front page titans about the latest in trading tools and market trends in stocks, commodities, bonds, forex, and derivatives. The Traders Network helps you stay ahead of the curve and delivers tomorrow's trade today. Now, here's your host, Michael Yorba.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us, broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media studios and broadcasting worldwide through yorbamedia.com. All right, my guest this segment is Vincent Granville, co-founder and executive partner at Data Sciences Central. Vincent's been in the industry and a visionary in data sciences within the last 15 years. And he has worked with some of the biggest companies out there, Wells Fargo, Microsoft, eBay, to really make sense of what big data really means. Vincent, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike.
My pleasure. All right, that was just a real brief overview of your background, and it's a lot more in depth than that. Can you give us a little bit more flavor of what you bring to the table here?
Yep. So let me quickly summarize my bios. I have a PhD in statistics that I earned in 1993, postdoc from Cambridge University. I worked in the internet industry for more than 15 years on multiple patents, created a startup, raised $6 million in VC funding a couple of years ago, wrote a book with Wiley, and essentially I gathered a lot of experience in digital marketing, fraud detection, in particular fraud detection with Visa in real time, automated bidding strategies for search engines and advertisers. And recently I created Data Science Central, which is the leading community for big data practitioners and people with an analytic background in data science.
Okay, let's drill down into what Data Science Central does for industries and where you are in the industry.
So Data Science Central essentially is a digital publisher. We have lots of experts and people interested in analytics, either contributing blog posts or involved in discussions like more technical discussions, a little bit like Stack Exchange, for instance. And the way that we generate income is via advertising, essentially. So we lead generator. And we have various type of clients, essentially vendors, big companies that provide solution for big data, be it NoSQL, Hadoop, or even a traditional SQL, for example, would be Teradata, Pivotal, Tableau software. We also have among our clients, universities, because there's been a shift recently in a few prestigious universities, for instance, Columbia, offering data science programs and moving a little bit away from what I would call data science 1.0, moving to data science 2.0. 1.0 was kind of relabeling statistics as data science. Now, there's a move towards having students working on real projects involved in working with companies and internship and stuff like that.
Now, let me define the question here. You've got some new synthetic metrics at how you measure data for data yield for data reduction. Well, let's get into that. What are these new synthetic metrics that you're working with?
The kind of metric that I've been working with, let me give you one example, would be predictive power. It's kind of a little bit similar to an old-fashioned metric, which was entropy, and it's used to find out if you have a large number of features. Let's say you're building a scoring engine, to find out the features that they've the highest predictive power. That means features that are going to be very good at discriminating between, for instance, fraud and non-fraud. So these synthetic matrix has been designed to be more robust, not sensitive to outliers, as opposed to traditional matrix, which are the result of solving beautiful mathematical equations like the general linear models and stuff like that. And so another example would be a new type of correlation coefficient, which is very robust against outliers. Another metric that's a little bit more original is what I call the bumpiness coefficient, which essentially, when you look at the time series, is going to tell you when you are in a period of high volatility versus no volatility. So you can have a time series with two different time series with the same average, the same variance, and yet a different bumpiness coefficient that can be exploited. For instance, if you do stock trading, your algorithms should take into account that sort of feature that the time series can have and leverage that.
There's a new term that I've just come to find out by meeting you. It's called growth hacking. What is that?
Growth hacking. Yeah, actually, one of the first co-founder of Data Science Central told me that I was a growth hacker, and sometimes I also call myself a business hacker. But let's discuss a growth hacker. Essentially, it's someone who, in my case, I would say using computational marketing to grow the traffic very fast, or almost kind of in a viral way, in my case, without spending tons of money. Actually, right now, we do spend some money very smartly in various types of advertising. But let me give you an example. On Twitter, for instance, one thing that's working really well for us, we're the fastest growing account among data scientists on Twitter, with about 150 new followers every day. So what we've done, we looked at all the top, the thought leaders, data scientists on Twitter, and we targeted advertising on Twitter, so with a list of hundreds of data scientists on Twitter. And what we've done is ask Twitters to target users that have a profile similar to those guys. So this way, our ads show up to our ads actually are either tweets or an invitations to connect with us. So show up to a large number of highly targeted people, and we're growing very nicely on Twitter. We're doing something really interesting too on AdWords, Google AdWords, to drive traffic, especially to drive new subscribers. Actually, not really tons of traffic, but subscribers to our newsletter, because that's essentially the way we're making most of our money is for our newsletter. And what we've been doing is identifying hundreds, if not of thousands, of highly relevant keywords, eliminating keywords that do not work. And so this brings an interesting point, is that even a small company like us, so we leverage really big data through external channels, vendors. Like, for instance, we leverage the huge database of keywords that Google has. We somehow discover and extract the most relevant profiles on Twitter. But ourselves, we don't really have big servers storing tons of information.
All right, let's do this. Vincent, let's take a break. But before we go, contact information for you is datasciencecentral.com, right?
Right.
All right, we'll be right back on the other side of this break with Vincent Granville, co-founder, executive producer, datasciencecentral.com, and special thanks to 1-800-publicrelations.com for all their PR and media support.
from the North Texas Traffic Center in Arlington. 20 westbound at Highway 287. An accident has that right lane blocked off. We're seeing those delays from Kelly Elliott. Out in Grand Prairie, 360 northbound at Kingswood. An accident has that left lane blocked off. We're seeing those delays from Webb Lynn Road. And in Fort Worth, 30 eastbound lane. Those delays back from East Loop 820, adding just around 15 minutes in all areas. I'm Heather Anderson with your KFXR traffic.
Heritage for the Blind reminds you to be kind. Call 1-800-DONATE-CARS today.
Be a star. Donate your car. Call 1-800-446-1234.
Join us this Saturday at Prestonwood Polo Club in Oak Point as we present world-class polo right here in North Texas. Watch the thrilling sport of polo and thoroughbred horses racing down the field. Bring your family and friends and enjoy the traditional champagne divot stomp. It's the best tailgate in North Texas. So pack a picnic and join us this Saturday for world-class polo right here in North Texas. For more information and tickets, go to PrestonwoodPoloClub.com. That's PrestonwoodPoloClub.com.
Are you keeping pace with the change in business development technology? Make the job of your sales team easier and lower cost. The world is moving to mobile apps. Digital publishing is the way of the future. For less than $90 a month, Cookie can create a professional mobile app for your company. If you don't have one now, you'll be left behind. Make marketing more powerful, more successful. Big results don't need big production and big costs anymore. Contact Cookie.com now. Cookie is the solution for you to create content live, easily, and fast to your own mobile applications. Cookie.com, Kooke.com.
The Garage is a business accelerator and investment fund looking for new ideas in technology, manufacturing, and consumer goods. Our 90-day intensive workshops, taught by entrepreneur mentors, are focused on one thing: helping you make money faster. Each week, you'll experience a class taught by successful entrepreneurs with the guidance of experienced mentors in your field. We get you to revenue faster and help you find investors when the time is right. To learn why we're different, go to workthegarage.com. That's workthegarage.com.
Honor our troops, both past and present. This salute from Texas Tile Roofing in loving memory of Sergeant First Class Houston Taylor. Specialists in all your residential and commercial building needs, including beautiful, long-lasting quality roofs. See why more people choose us above the rest. Visit TexasTileRoofing.com. Quality people, quality customers, and quality craftsmanship from a professional roofing contractor. Texas Tile Roofing, helping to empower men and women and wishing the troops a safe return home.
From the Mini Cooper Weather Center, today mostly sunny and very pleasant, high of 77. Tonight clear, low of 53. This report is brought to you by the new Total Traffic app.
For times when you can't hear live traffic reports on your radio, download our new Total Traffic app. Get the simplest view of traffic conditions all around you. Available for iPhone and Android, the Total Traffic app is the easiest way to see the road ahead.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host, broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media Studios and broadcasting worldwide through yorbamedia.com. I've got Vincent Granville, co-founder, executive partner at datasciencecentral.com on the show with me today. We were just talking about drilling down into some of the analytics that go on in the data science field and how the algorithms are used to increase exposure worldwide through various social network engines. But one of the things that you also do, you don't just do it for people, you actually teach people how to do this by delivering training. Can we drill into that, Vincent?
Yeah. So it started, I guess, probably 2 years ago, where we're following a new trend in education, and particularly high-tech education, where we try to be extremely applied and try to provide worthwhile training in a short amount of time and, if possible, online and on demand and at very low cost. So we've designed what we call the Data Science Apprenticeship. We've got our first candidate who completed the first project. We've also had actually one of the first guys who was interested in this apprenticeship eventually became one of our interns, a guy from postdoc from Columbia University with a nuclear physicist. And essentially, it's aimed mostly at self-learners. So we provide the top resources with a data science sheet to get them started for those with not a strong background in, let's say, for instance, computer science, statistics, or quantitative domain. But essentially, it's project-driven, and candidates could choose between something like 10, 12 projects. Some are really applied, involve working on real data. Some are more theoretical. It's trying to find interesting results in data science, but they do also involve working with data, and typically those that are more theoretical involve working with simulated data, and sometimes huge amount of simulated data to learn some properties or to try to find some interesting results in big data. So for instance, how do you detect spurious correlation when you're working with billions of rows? One of the issues is, let's say that, for instance, on the stock market, you are processing thousands of time series, each time series representing, let's say, a stock, and you have maybe 10 data points per time series, like, for instance, 10 seconds, 10 hours, or 10 days, whatever. So you're going to compute millions of correlations. Just by pure chance, because the volume is so high, you're going to find extremely high correlations that are actually spurious. So how do you assess the proportion of spurious correlations, and how to try to avoid them and really detect real signals? So that's the kind of problems, theoretical problems, that some of the students can work on. And there's an article that I wrote about that, which is the curse of big data, which actually is, for statisticians long ago, they've been discussing the curse of dimensionality, and it's something different from the curse of dimensionality. It's curse of big data. So the problems that start occurring in big data, where traditional statistics can cause problems.
I could see that this would work out in my field too. The news broadcast business, where we've got different content, different segments that we're trying to get the guest, like your show, your segment, put out to the various social networks through the algorithm, so that it covers more ground and it gets more exposure. Is that some of the training that you would do?
So you were talking about segmenting news, or?
Yes.
Yeah, obviously, being a publisher, since we offer these this training essentially at no cost, some of the projects involve dealing with news. So one of the things I'm interested in, of course, is automation of news production, or at least semi-automation. So, which means managing, detecting feeds. One of the projects actually consists in designing a system where I have nobody working on it right now, but it's an interesting project, in my opinion, and you might be interested in that too, is designing a kind of a feed directory or feed system where everybody can submit their feeds, and they are somehow scored, so that eventually you can create websites where with syndicated news that are automatically selected and scored and ranked. And in my case, it's mostly focused, obviously, in big data and data science, but you could create a system like that that applies to any kind of news.
Similar to what we see, when you go onto a website, what's trending now.
Right.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Let's talk about the myths and the lack of analytic talent.
Yeah. So I think there's a little bit of an exaggeration about the lack of analytic talent. There are multiple problems associated with that. First, you have companies like LinkedIn, for instance. There's an example of I was looking at job ads on LinkedIn, and it was a data scientist position available at LinkedIn, and it drew like 600 candidates, something like that. So obviously there's not really a lack of analytic talent. I didn't check with, I don't know the quality of those guys applying, but clearly companies like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Apple, they have no problems finding talent. Now, a lot of companies that are not well known or that are maybe associated with, brick and mortar, stuff like that, may have more difficult times finding talent, and particularly companies in places that people don't want to relocate. So I think companies trying to hire data scientists should be open to either telecommute or even some offices in places where there are lots of data scientists, like, for instance, in New York City, in the Bay Area. There are quite a few in Chicago as well. And then another issue with the fact that it's difficult to find talent is that a lot of systems are based on keywords. So you're looking to hire people. So the first filtering is based on keyword, the keyword that you have on your resume. An example is the R programming language. So the letter R, which is one of the most popular programming languages for data scientists. So how do you identify R, the letter R, with a tool that automatically extracts keywords? It's not going to work. And in addition to that, the smart guys, they're going to fill with their resume with, Hadoop, Pig, Hive, NoSQL, MapReduce, Python, and maybe they don't know much about that. And but they are selected for a job interview because they have the right keywords, and then it goes nowhere. So another issue is you have lots of people who are very smart, like PhD guys with computer science background, and who do know for real, like Python and some other data science stuff, but they lack business acumen or domain expertise. In many companies right now, and my experience is being, for instance, in the advertising, online advertising and stuff like that, the business models are fairly complicated, and it can take a lot of time if you come straight out of your postdoc or PhD working on more theoretical problems to really understand how those things work. And I think that's an issue, is that there's not enough emphasis on business expertise, domain expertise in
Vincent,
many of the training. Go ahead.
We've got to close the interview. We're out of time, but I want to thank you so much for being a guest on our show, and I definitely want to talk to you later about how to take your talent and use it to benefit with our company.
Oh, thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you. Vincent Granville, co-founder, executive partner, datasciencecentral.com, and special thanks to 1-800-publicrelations.com for all their PR and media support.
Thanks for listening to today's program. The Traders Network is a production of Yorba.tv LLC and is streamed live and archived at yorbamedia.com. We invite you to listen live, join in the conversation real time, and link to the Traders Network on the Yorba Media website. All opinions in this show are that of the presenters or their guests, and not of this station's owners or management. These opinions are for educational purposes only and should not be interpreted as investment or financial advice. All investments involve risk, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Tune into the Traders Network every Monday through Friday afternoon here on 1190 a.m.